Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Porky here. You know, don't you? You know. That's why you've tuned in. Today I'm joined by Max from Scarborough. But first of all, let me just point out to the white button below, that's the join button for the exclusive members club. Right? Did you hear that? Exclusive members club. £5.99 a month for the extra content. All right. If it's too much money for you, keep your money in bank. But if you need your porky fix, press the button below. All right. How are you doing, Max? You all right?
Yeah, doing well. Doing well.
Good man.
Lockdown's getting, gyms are back open April 12th. So, hopefully we can roll on with it.
Yeah, okay. You do know today is 50 years since Muhammad Ali came out of retirement to fight Joe Frazier. You do know that, don't you? 50 years today.
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, to be honest, I've seen it come up on my news feeds. Someone posted it. Yeah, it's incredible, really, and it's not really shown much. Really, it's not really mentioned a lot.
Not mentioned at all, is it? But the point I want to make is, what fight have we had since then that you could say, out of all the heavyweight fights in the last 50 years, what fight have we had that was as good as that? Give me three fights. Give me just three fights that match that.
It'd be Lennox Lewis, maybe one of Lennox Lewis fights, wouldn't it?
Lennox Lewis against who?
When he fought Tyson was sort of decent, but would it be as big?
Right. Let me just stop you there. Right. When Lennox Lewis fought Tyson, Mike Tyson was a busted flush. On it, let's have it right. He was 11 years after Buster Douglas, and he'd had 2 prison sentences in between. Plus, they'd both been beat, and they were both over 30. Now, when Ali fought Frazier, they were under 30, undefeated, and they both could make a claim to being undisputed champion. Because Ali never lost his belts in the ring, and Frazier just picked up Ali's belt, so they had to fight. Do you see where I'm coming from? But nowadays, look what we've got. We've got Joshua and Fury. It would have done deal last June, wasn't it? Tyson Fury came out last June and said, 2-fight deal, it's a done deal. Daniel Kinahan's the man. But it wasn't a done deal, was it? It weren't a done deal, was it? Because we're still talking about it 9 months later, aren't we? So can you give me any more fights that match up to that?
I think due to Tyson Fury's obviously coming out of fighting Wilder, that's as big as it's got.
Tyson Fury against Wilder, yes, you could say that, but they were both over 30, weren't they?
Both undefeated at the time.
Both undefeated, but both over 30. But yeah, you could say very similar to that, and we had a conclusive finish in the next one. But what other fights could you say? And let's have it right. Ali and Frazier were Olympic gold medalists, and they were both undefeated and both under 30. It don't get any better than that. The biggest fight that's ever happened in boxing, ever.
It's hard. I don't. If you're really clutching at straws, you could say Evander Holyfield and Tyson's first fight.
Evander Holyfield and Tyson, but Tyson had been beat.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing undefeated. I don't think you can. I don't think you.
Mike Tyson, Michael Spinks. They were undefeated, but Spinks were over 30, wasn't
he? Would you say Spinks had his best years behind him then?
Yeah, and he was a light heavyweight, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I don't think you can. I don't think you can. It's hard to pick anything since then. I mean, you got to think. I think the 90s was quite boring for heavyweights.
Yeah.
Bruno came along, but even that, he excited it a little bit, Bruno. Yeah. But I think when it came down to that killer instinct, Tyson, it's a fight British Republic wanted to see because he was loved and that, but Bruno and Tyson at one point, but again, it's still clutching at straws. It's not.
Max,
you haven't got a long list.
Max, let me just stop you there. You can't put Frank Bruno against Tyson. He was donkey fodder for Mike Tyson. He wanted Frank Bruno. Yeah. You can't put him in place as one of the two legendary Harley Fraser.
No,
Frank Bruno were in pantomime, mate. Come on, Frank Bruno. Come on.
But this clutching at straws, isn't it? It's nothing, is there?
50 years today, and we had a fight to match it. Who's to blame? Is it TV companies? Is it John King, Bob Aaron, Frank Warren, Barry Hearn, Eddie Hearn, Mick Hennessy, Sauerlands, Universal, Lou DiBella? Who is to blame? Oscar De La Hoya? Out of all this 50 year, we haven't had a fight. All of them. Cesspit. It's a cesspit.
All of them.
Nobody's saying a word about it. They all keep going on about it. But what have we had since then to match it? We haven't.
Well, I mean, you got to think back in that day, when those are a fight would be a fight every month.
Everybody fought each other. Do you know another thing, Max? Let me just say this to you, right? They both got $2.5 million each in 1971. Forward 1974, Ali and Foreman got $5 million each. There were none of this, I want a bigger split than him or I'm not fighting. They just split the money and got on with it. Look at Hagler against Hearns. They got same person, even though one was champion, one wasn't. They're not fighting each other today, mate. We've had the great era, the 70s. Look at that great era and 80s at middleweight. What have we got now? YouTubers, come on. Fighters are not fighting each other. They're complaining about splits.
It comes down to promotional companies, doesn't it? It comes down to promotional companies.
There's that many belts now. There's that many belts. They want to keep them apart and go their own route. We don't want that. We want one heavyweight champion in the blue ribbon. The blue ribbon division, Johnny. Welcome back to the blue ribbon division. Well, that's what we want. One champion across the board or every weight. We don't want like WBA, 5 and 6 champions in one division. What's all that about? Or people getting an email saying, we're now saying you're a world champion, even though you've not won the belt in the ring. Could you imagine FA Cup being handed to Everton this year? Or whoever, we're going to give you FA Cup because Man United don't want to play you. Hey? There'd be uproar, there'd be riots on the street. So why do we put up with it in the sport of boxing? Why? Why?
I'll tell you what, Porky, I'll say one thing. I think, there's too many belts. Even the WBC have created a new belt for that. Is it light heavyweight area? The 225 belt. So they're always creating belts, and they need to stop that.
Bridgerweight.
Yeah, that's right. Now, they need to stop these belts because, I mean, I read, this was months ago, there's a heavyweight, Manuel Shah or something. He's a title holder, but he hasn't defended it for years.
Right.
Where's that belt come from?
Exactly.
It's all these different belts, and they need to stop it. They need to. All we want is one champion. And there's all this bullshit about Eddie Hearn making his fight, and it's there now. We've heard nothing. Everyone wants it. Everyone wants AJ and Fury. Now, I mean, Eddie Hearn, I can't stand him at the best of times, but the fact of the matter is, Porky, mate, is, he's got all these stupid, the zone in America, then he's got obviously his Matchroom over here, where's how they're going to do it? Because Tyson's with BT and Joshua's with Sky Sports. Then that's where the row's going to be. I think both fighters want it, but I think the promotion companies are letting it down. They just need to get it over the line and get it done because the British public want to see it, especially.
Correct. Correct.
It's at the end of the day, both fighters want it. I mean, whatever money it is, it's into under 100 millions, and there's too many people taking the slice of the pie. I want this, I want that. Why can't BT just say, "All right, we have the America spoils, Matchroom has the British spoils," or something, and just divide it like that? It's quite simple, really. But I think that's where the row's going to be. But when you've got three main promoters, Bob Arum, you've got bloody Eddie Hearn, and you've got Frank Warren all in the mix, that's three big players or big-ish players want to take a slice of the pie. You know, it's too many Chiefs, unfortunately, and it's spoiling it. And will we see AJ in Fury? Because someone's stalling over it. It's a shame because, you know, I just want to see the fight. I think a lot of people want to see it and get it done. Something to look forward to as well. Oh, this is the date it's happening. Let's get it on. So there's bullshitting about.
Yeah. Well, I think they've got problems with making that fight. But they've shot the mouths off now. So they've got to keep the story going, haven't they? To keep it like the Manny Pacquiao and the Mayweather one went on far too long, didn't it?
Yeah, easy.
And they're doing the same thing with this because they want to get views. They want to make it. They want to talk about it for that long that they think the longer they talk about it, the more views it's going to get. But the Kell Brook Amir Khan one, they spoke about that for too long, and it sort of died out. The public weren't interested, were they? And I think that's where this one's going to mess up. They're going to be too greedy, and it's going to be overkill.
Yeah, you know what, Porky, man, I agree, because with the Amir Khan and Kell Brook, I think both fighters wanted it. Well, I think Kell Brook wanted it more so than Amir Khan. But now it's all talk. There's a little bit of a whisper of it happening again. But it's worth probably a quarter of what it would be back then. It's worth a quarter of it now. Everyone would see it back then. Now, who would want to see it now? Really, seriously. You know, it's died almost. You can't bring it back. Once it's died, you've got to strike the iron while it's hot. And unfortunately, with these promoters, they're not doing it right enough. There's too much probably, you know, debates in the background, you know, where it's going to be. I mean, you know, I don't know if they're hoping fans are back in this country to stage it here. Maybe they're stalling over. We don't know. We never know. But the problem is with lights and Matchroom and all these, they talk too much and say, on one hand, yeah, it's 95% done. Well, you can't say that if it's not over the line, if it's actually agreed. Right. You know.
Let me just say this to you. Bob Arum came out on Saturday and he said, Fury against Joshua is a done deal. And then he said they just need to sign. So how is it a done deal? It's not done.
It's not done.
Oh, my leg's wet. There's bead all up my leg. 90-year-old Bob Arum's been doing this since 1966. And he got into promoting because he worked for IRS. And he's seen what promoters were making with Liston and people like that, and Floyd Patterson and that, and Ali, and he thought, I'll have some of that. He's 90-year-old, mate. He wants putting in a Shackleton's IC chair in a home. That's what he needs, Bob Arum. But
he needs to step away.
He needs to step away, mate, because people like him, the rinse and the sport, he kept Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather apart years. He did the same thing with Shane Mosley and Mayweather. Eventually, Mayweather went on his own and he fought Mosley, didn't he? But point I want to make is, the book lies with the promoters, not the fighters. They want to fight. The promoters are the ones that are in their ear. And they're the ones stopping it happening. And TV companies need to have a better quality control. Ed Robinson at Sky needs to say to Eddie, these are not good enough, this pay-per-view. For example, what's next pay-per-view? Dylan White against Povetkin. 2 convicted drug chiefs. One's 42 in a few months. The other one's in his mid-30s. Who wants to see them in a second pay-per-view? Dylan White's 6th pay-per-view. He's not won a European title yet. Carl Froch only had 3 pay-per-views. And he cleaned up, won everything. So,
yeah.
I don't know, mate. What do you think?
Well, I mean, if you went back, I think I was watching one of your other podcasts. Or was it against a lad called Harley? He said he hit the nail right on the head. Like BT, when BT did when Tommy Fury's fight, they're just crap. I mean, like when they're putting it on normal TV, That should be a platform of advertising for like, oh, this is pay-per-view for next week. If that's going to be crap on normal BT or normal Sky Sports Arena, why would you say somebody go and pay pay-per-view for the next week if that one was crap on the undercard? It doesn't make sense. You're supposed to be luring consumers in, luring them in, and they're not doing it. They're not doing it because these crap fights they're putting on is a shambles, shambolic.
Yeah.
Why would you want to pay 20 odd quid?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I agree with you, mate. I agree with you.
And especially when you put like Tommy Fury against someone, so it's just a journeyman in day. He should be stepping it up, and he's not. They're just keeping him warm for a big paid deal, and it's all this Love Island crap behind him. And it's a shame, really, because you can. I think he needs to step away with his dad, really, and goes with someone and just do it properly. But I don't know. It comes down to promotion. I mean, you need a proper competition with Matchroom now, because Matchroom's got the bloody share of the bloody jurisdiction of it all. You need someone proper to compete with and say, oh, we can do a better show there. And unfortunately, Frank Warren's not doing it. He's definitely not doing it. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, even the Dylan White fight, although as much as it's going to be okay, the undercard will be crap on that. Why would you want to pay it? You want to pay for the service of all good fights, all quality fights. Even championship fight. Yeah, I mean, winning titles. They're not doing it. Just putting, if unfortunately, pains me to say it, women's boxing is coming on a little bit better, but again, there's not enough of them. So it's trying to platform that. It's just a shambolic throughout, and I think us as customers should deserve better. When we're not getting what you're paying all this money, and it's a lot of money they're putting on for just like a couple of hours. Yeah, in it really.
Yeah, it is. So, Dylan White will be in charge of the pay-per-view. He owns the pay-per-view, so he'll put his fighters that he manages on there, and they'll all be on buttons, brass buttons or chocolate buttons. So it's a shame. All right, then, moving on from that shower of shite, what do you think about Billy Joe Saunders against Canelo not being signed yet?
Again, it comes down to the promotions of it, because again, I mean, it's in America. The thing is with Canelo, he's got his own. Is so advising Billy Joe, but yet they're saying, "Oh yeah, it's done 8th of May," but is it though? It's not, and you're telling these dates and that, when it's not exactly a done deal. I think Canelo, that's the only fight for him now. Then he's got to move up or do whatever he wants to do. And that last fight was absolutely shambolic for Canelo. They've got to stop doing that. I mean, I believe Yildirim was a mandatory, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So wasn't a threat. Let's be honest. Did he? Yeah, was Canelo bothered after that fight? Not really. It's becoming. They need to start changing the mandatories. If that's that quality of opponent going in there, they need to change the way they do the mandatories, because again, I wouldn't want to pay for that, and that's a Canelo fight. But yeah. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't, yeah.
All right then. Terry Harper against Natasha Jonas rematch. Should it happen next?
You know what? I don't mind Terry Harper. But again, all these rematches. It's one thing I will say, all these rematches. Because Dylan White lost to Rebecca, and this winds me up so much, all rematches. Not so much Terry Harper's case, because there's less opponents in the women's division. But because you lost, I don't think you should automatically have a rematch. So let's say, for example, going back to Joshua Ruiz, you lost the belt, Ruiz should fight. Stop having the clauses of a rematch all the time.
Yeah, do you know what I think about them clauses? It's utter bullshit.
Shit. Yeah, Yeah,
Right.
I mean, because look, let's be honest. Prevekian pulled a good uppercut on Dylan White, right? Yeah, Dylan White, fair play to you. You fight any man, or suppose you fight any man you want to fight. Fair enough. And he'd been waiting for his shot at the WBC for a long time. You know, yeah. But this is a heavyweight game. Prevekian uppercutted you. You're a lights out. Why should you entitle for an automatic rematch? You know, Prevekian should go on to fight whoever he wants. You know, I like the attitude of when I think, is it Lopez won his title against Lomachenko? Yeah, Lomachenko wanted a rematch. No, fuck you, back of the queue. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know?
Exciting times ahead.
Yeah.
This is why we love this sport so much, Johnny.
Yeah. I just we need to get out of this pandemic. We need to cut these bloody promoters down and just cut down all the titles. Have just two, maybe instead of 4-5 governing bodies in boxing, have just 2 or something. Cut it all down and just have one champion. You know what I mean? Yeah, have a chance because there's a lot of boxers that have a chance for another belt. But I mean, it's like, I think I was listening to Cole Frock, not so long ago, his podcast.
Froch,
and he was saying that.
Let me just stop you there, mate. It's Froch, not Frock.
Yeah. Froch. Sorry, mate.
All right, mate.
But I was listening to George Groves. And I think he was having, I don't know who was interviewing it anyway. And he was saying that what happened to the old, like winning the regional English title Longsdale belts and all that thing and learning your trade instead of just going this interim stuff. You know, you win a solid title, area title, you know, the English title, Longsdale English belt, you know, all these ways and really learn your trade. Whereas have interim WBC, you know what I mean? And I think it's gone too much that way and there's too many governing bodies coming in and swooped it now, and it's just becoming a bit of a mess now.
What do you think about Josh Kelly trying to skip the levels and jumping in with a world ranked fighter, and he's not won a British?
Well, he just showed it against David Avanesian. Is that his name? Avanesian? I can't say his name.
Avanesian.
But yeah, look, I think it was a few steps too far for him. Adam Booth got a bit over.
Adam Booth!
Yeah, he said nothing.
He's the best!
Yeah, but he said nothing since this loss, has he? Where's he gone?
He's been quiet.
You know, Josh Kelly, look, he's got the skills. We clearly can see that. But, you know, doing that trickery, keeping your arms down for that length of time against someone, let's say, is world class, will keep coming hunting for you. Problem with Josh Kelly, can't properly take opponents out in a vicious way. There's always too much trickery. When it gets into a dogfight, which it started to be, can handle it. And I think that's why sometimes some boxers, like Josh Kelly, needs to switch away from Adam Booth. Go to someone like, so for example, I'll give you a perfect example of this. So you got Fury and Wilder's first fight. Knew he was going to get a decision in America if it went on points. He knows he can beat him on points. Well, I need to step away from Ben Davison and find someone which I can take opponents out. Went to Kronk's gym and they are recognised for it. They've had Lennox, they've had the whole lot through that gym. And he took him out. Just took him out in the second fight. And that's what I think Josh Kelly needs to do, learn to take people out.
Okay, but then.
He's not going to step away from Adam Booth.
Who do you think's going to be the next fighter to try and skip the levels and get found wanting?
What, in heavyweight?
No. In any way, who from the UK do you feel?
In any way.
You know, like Anthony Yard, he got found out, didn't he? He tried to skip the levels, didn't he? Dave Allen skipped the levels, went in with Ortiz, didn't he? When he were 9-0, not 9-1 or something,
yeah.
9-1-1. Conor Benn, he skipped the levels. Is he going to be next to be thrown under a bus?
Yeah, you know what? It's a good shout. Conor Benn's a good shout. I like that. it's a hard one, isn't it? Because Conor Benn, you see him, I mean, against Formella. I mean, I thought, yeah, he needs to go in a world champion. But Formella didn't really, just danced around him. He didn't really come out at him. He just was very reserved and just stayed in there to survive, it seemed almost. And Conor Benn comes forward really aggressive. And it seems to be gear 5 constantly. If you find someone similar, Vargas might do it. I don't know. It depends how, it could be. I think Conor, that's a good shout, to be fair, Porky. Conor Benn, as much as I like the kid, he might get fouled because Vargas isn't no mug. Quality.
He's a disaster waiting to happen, but how dare I say that about Conor Benn? Because he's knuckled down and everybody likes him now. He's knuckled down. Look, listen, this is from me. He's dog shit and he'll get found out. Remember what I've just said, dog shit. He's not British. He's not British level. If he were, he'd have fought for a British title. You don't skip British titles to jump in with world ranked guys. If you do, the rankings are manufactured. Conor Benn is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But nobody dare say a word because he's with Sky and they all want to get working with Eddie Hearn.
Yeah. And I think it brings on to the automatic point of Josh Kelly should have never looked at David Evnisian because he should have looked at the fight against someone like Conor Benn. Someone like that domestic level. Keep it to domestic. Then if you fought everyone domestically and at that British title, look overseas. I mean, say about, we could go on to Josh Warrington and Lara, yes, he has got a champion, but they didn't do their homework on Lara, I don't think. They thought, he can take anyone on. But it's Mexican Lara, who's got a good, absolutely awesome pedigree. Of course, he lives, I don't know if you've seen where he lives. He lives in a shithole, Lara. Lives actually in the gym. That's what they do. It's a different level, those lads. Didn't do his homework and he got found out badly. And I think his dad's to blame for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right, then moving on from the adventures of Tintin. What do you think about British Boxing Board of Control judging of late?
Some of them have been poor, haven't they? Yeah. I mean, Christ. I don't know what Eddie Hearn does on his. He must. He always okay. One what really annoys me, Katie Taylor's fights. Right? Was it her last fight or the fight before last? She blatantly lost that or was drawn. It was like a unanimous decision of a win. And I don't know what Eddie Hearn does with his own. He's like always feeding the money in. I think Eddie Hearn with these judges. So I just edge it towards her. Or I mean? And Katie Taylor's almost like his cash cow for Matchroom on the women's side. And it's Katie Taylor numerous times she's lost. And it hasn't. And I'm thinking, how's that scorecard like that? And that's a prime example on that one. Katie Taylor, she would have lost twice by now, but somehow has come away with a win. And I'm thinking, how's that a win? Me and my mates have been watching it thinking, how has she won that? So yeah, I think they need to be, I don't know, there's something beyond the background because Matchroom blatantly, one of them is blatantly like selecting the judges and can get in with them. There's something to do with that.
Yeah, you might be right there. You might be right.
It's ridiculous, Porky, because it shouldn't be like that. It comes down to this comes down to the governing bodies, how well he gets the title shots with him. So obviously Eddie Hearn's not very good with the WBC, but the WBO seems to lick up and the other governing bodies suddenly lick up. So when they give these judges to him, he'll more than likely know him by the first name and go out and drink with him after. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's something behind the scenes there. And I think Eddie's been giving them a bit of a, on some fights, especially.
All right, then. What do you think about Callum Johnson and Joe Gallagher crossing the street to Bricktop?
what's the point?
Well, obviously, Eddie Hearn said that he's not obliged to work with Callum Johnson. They didn't have a contract and that, and if there was nothing for him, because he's not a controversial character, is he? Even though the kid can fight. Well, the only other game in town is Bricktop, isn't it, in the UK? So what should he have done then? What would you have done if you were Callum Johnson's manager and trainer? What would you have done, Max?
I would have. To be fair, when you move.
Well, let me just stop you, Max. Max, let me just stop you, right? Because you're going off on one, right? I've asked you, what would you have done with Callum Johnson if you couldn't work with Eddie Hearn and Callum said to you, you're going to have to get me another deal in the UK? What would you have done?
I'd have tried to keep him happy.
Well, is he happy now? He is happy, doesn't he?
Well, it comes down to money, doesn't it?
Right. So, has he made the best move then going with Bricktop? Because Bricktop's paying him more than he were at Matchroom. But when I first asked you that, you went, so is that a good move or what? If he don't go to Bricktop, where else is he going to go in the UK?
Hello, sorry, tried to call me some idiot. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Try to what?
So some idiot tried to call me. I don't know why.
Right. I thought we were turning his phones off.
No, because I've got it on my phone for some reason.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm on a computer there. So, do you think it's a good move in going to Bricktop? Because it's more money and they're guaranteed a world title fight within a couple of fights. So, that to me looks like...
But is it, though?
Well, hang on a minute. Right. Let's just stop here, that. Let me just... Because I don't think you're listening to me. What has Callum Johnson done in 2 years? Not been active, has he?
No, he hasn't been active.
Right. So let's stop. Well, stop there. So he's not been active for 2 years. So if he's with Matchroom when they're not keeping him active, is that a problem? You've got a problem.
Yeah, of course it is.
Right. So let's stop there. Stop. So they can't deliver for him. They offer him 80 grand for bouts. Bouts is on 160. He's a Joshua fighter. They say yes, please, and then they go missing. Then they come back months later and say, yeah, we'll do that fight, but you've got to take 40. But bouts is still on 160, so they said no. So they then say, well, we can't work with you. We're not obliged to work with you. So what does Joe Gallagher do with Callum Johnson then? Does he stay with Eddie Hearn? Or does he go look to go somewhere else?
Maybe it's a hard one, isn't it? Because if he hasn't been active, how does he improve his worth?
Well, he's obviously training all the time. Look, the point I'm trying to make is he's done the best for his fighter. So they go to Frank Warren, they're getting more money and more opportunities, and they've got a deal with them. So isn't that better than being at Matchroom and parked on shelf with no deal? I call that progress.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, right, definitely.
Right. So okay. No, it's just that when I first put it to you, you scoffed, didn't you?
Yeah, well, what I was trying to do is because Eddie Hearn's always got something up his sleeve, and he has got money. But if you're not active, why would Matchroom give him that opportunity?
Okay, then.
Or was
okay?
It comes down to activity's a problem, isn't it? Especially this current climate.
You've just said Eddie Hearn's got money, right? How many purse bids has he won this year? He's just lost a purse bid by £2.5 million, hasn't he?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So if he's got money, where's the money? Where's the money? He didn't put a bid in for Waddington against Galahad. He didn't bid on that, did he? He didn't bid on Galahad. Galahad and Yazza Dickens. He didn't win that purse. No, you don't even think he bid on them. No. So
you're right.
So where's this money? Where's this money? Show me the money.
It's drying up, isn't it, really?
7 purse bids in 34 years. 7 purse bids in 34 years. They don't like purse bids because they're not in control.
No. I think it's gone the days now. I think this pandemic is giving it a swing a little bit for him and realising that he wants fans back, and it's killing him. Yeah. It is killing him.
Well,
sorry, go on.
Well, they shouldn't tell lies. to fans. Shouldn't lie to boxing fans. Yeah, it's a done deal. That was 9 months ago.
Yeah, well.
It's a done deal. 2-fight deal. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Mr. Bean. 2-fight deal. Adam Smith. Bounce, bounce, bounce. We're still waiting, Bean.
Adam Smith. Any boring?
And your laptop in, Adam Smith. And it into News Police Station.
God,
yeah.
He's
Well, we're going to bring it to an end. We've had 40 minutes. I've enjoyed that. You're good company. Do your own work next time you want to take me on, Max. But you've been a good guest.
That's annoying, that is, yeah.
Right. What's the weather like up there in sunny Scarborough?
Crap. Northeast is crap. North Yorkshire's crap.
30 years ago, I used to go to a club in Scarborough called Lawton's, and it were owned by Alf Arton.
Still about? He's still about.
Is Alf still alive?
Alf's still about. He's bankrupt now.
Is he bankrupt?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll tell you a story about that.
He had a few
He owned another club. He owned another club called Boleyn's, not far away.
Yeah.
Luminar Leisure came in and offered him £4 million for it, to take it off him, you know. Then he said, no, fuck off, it's worth 10, all this shit. Nah, get out of my club, all this shit. About 2 weeks later, recession hit, and it went downhill, and he wished he took it. I bet he wished he took it. Yeah, he's bankrupt.
Well, his business is bankrupt, but he's still got a few quid.
He's got a little bit, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, listen. Thanks for coming on, Max. Good luck. Mate. Have you got your social media handles?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Yeah.
Away you go. What are they?
So you've got hashtag Involve Fitness. It's my gym in Scarborough. That's on Instagram. And you've got, follow me at Max A Jenkins on Insta.
Max A Jenkins. How old are you, Max?
33 next week.
33. You think you're hard?
I can box a little bit.
What eggs?
Box eggs, yeah.
Harry Matthews is training you, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's all right. He's good. He's putting the groundwork in with me now.
All right. Well, listen, Max, you've been a good guest. You can take a bit of banter. You've just passed the Porky experience. All right. Well, listen, you take care and have a great week, Max. Thanks for coming on.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was Maximilian Jenkins from Scarborough, or is it Maximus? I don't know. So we'll just call him Austin Maxi, shall we? And that's about it for today, folks, on a Monday morning, or is it Monday? Have a look. 1:15 on a Monday. So peace out, keep on trucking, keep supporting boxing. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Ciao.